Right, welcome to another New Way Growth quick live. We are talking cookies, and one that Jim has just sort of like picked up on and found out about hot off the press, Google's page experience signals, which Jim's going to go into. But first one for it really is around the cookie side, and this I think I can't remember whether it ends later on this year or it is in now into 2023 from a cookies point of view, third-party cookies. And I know, reading up on that the majority of marketeers aren't ready for this either. From some of the articles I've been reading, I read one that was 63%, and there was marketeers that had a negative perception of Google and Apple regarding this cookie, and MAID, which is the mobile advertising IDs as well. So I don't think it's gone down particularly well, but it's happening at the end of the day. Now, one of the things that was a common question when reading up on this and going into details was around, well, do we still need these cookies banners? Because I tell you, it just frustrates me every time I visit a website and I have to click on and take the cookies away. But yes, you still will have to do it because we still have first party cookies. So what we hold, in essence, basically what we do within our website. So if you're an e-commerce site, it's the behaviors of your shopping cart. And if you've got a sign on, so if you're signing on, you've still got an email address and information. So you still need first party cookies. The added advantage of this, though, from that is that we've now got to think strategic around what we're doing. But the first party cookies means we can also get very personalized as well. So we can really understand our segmentation within the business and what's happening on our websites, particularly with with what we're doing. So I mean, I was thinking around here, with first party data approach, it allows directly to communicate with customers and lessens the reliance on these third party aggregations. And makes it more personal, which is what we want. We want that personal conversations. We want to understand the customers better, and we want to have this comms. So capturing email addresses and mutually beneficial sort of like exchange of value. We've then got a good segmentation of what we're trying to understand and do with our customer base. So for me, it was understanding what you think around your individual disciplines, particularly with the search marketing and also SEO, because we can get very personalized, very focused content with both of those. So Luke, thoughts?
Yeah, I think that the first thing, obviously, just an overview of what the cookie issue is that basically they're removing third-party cookies, aren't they? So this basically means that your behavior that you do on websites, etc., that was being tracked before is going to be either not tracked anymore or much less tracked, like Adam said, and only take certain aspects of what you do on a website into consideration. Over the last 10, 15 years, things like Facebook ads and Google ads have managed to get more and more data on consumers, which has led to them being more and more targeted with advertising. A lot of people, at the start were like, "Oh, that's great." I was just looking at a pair of trainers on an ASOS or on a different branded website, and all of a sudden they're appearing on a different website. Wow, that's amazing. I can just go and click, and that ease of use is great. And now I think people have got to the point where it's like, well, that's a bit intrusive. There's certain things that people talk about and then get an advert, and there's still blurred lines about how exactly those adverts are appearing. We don't know, with the introduction of voice on smartphones and things like that. But that's basically it. They're trying to reduce that privacy. And like you said, marketers are looking at ways around that. From my individual discipline of search ads and the things that we talk about most of the time being intent marketing rather than interference, that side of things relies a lot more on the user initially telling me what they're looking for through the use of keywords and search terms. And we were having a discussion, Adam, before we came on, sort of, will this affect the price of keywords? And I think that could go one of two ways. The reason that keyword advertising can potentially be really cost effective for a lot of businesses at the minute is because the keyword cost per click price is a lot smaller than the potential lead value. So, for example, if you're, let's say, a hairdresser, for example, and the cost per click might be in the pence, but a renewing client getting them over and over and over throughout the year might be into hundreds, potentially thousands of pounds, that click value is cost effective for you to do it. Whereas, for example, an IT industry might be £5-10 a click. And yes, the potential lead value could be really, really good and really, really large in terms of thousands of pounds of clients. But not every business is going to be able to afford that. So the competition level within the PPC sort of strategy in an area is already slightly dictated by the price of the clicks itself. Whether or not more people will look to move over because they can no longer use other methods that worked for them before is an argument for, yes, okay, if there's more demand for that and more people bidding on those keywords, the price could increase. But as we said before, if these prices are already at a limit where firms can't afford them and the other methods that use cookies were more cost effective, they're unlikely to go into that and try the Google ads and PPC side of things anyway, because they're just going to be priced out of the market already. So I think it's something to definitely keep an eye on. I'd expect there to be a slight rise in price in terms of clicks, because people might be willing to go that little bit more to make sure that they're still in the market and they're still outranking their competitors who were previously not using these techniques. But I do think that the market itself and the technique is sort of already protected by the fact of, if you can afford the clicks, you'll do it. And if you think it's cost effective, you'll do it. If not, it's not something you're going to explore.
Yeah, I think the potential is that you probably you might have more people enter into the market of search advertising. And I think the key word there, or the key thing from that is that it's intent, not interruption. So on the interruption side, generally, if we're using third party, and this is where I get around this personalization point of view, is that when it's third party, it's pushed in front of you. So it's interruption. Whereas this is what the two aspects we're talking about here regarding cookies is more of intent. And so it's far better.
The best adverts on the interruption front are the most specific and tailored adverts, which we know. They're the ones that have got the most accurate sort of data points of saying, well, this person will like this, and this because of certain behaviors or certain demographics. Those are the interference side of things on social media, etc., or Google display ads that work really well. So if that then is taken away and they can get less data points, what we might see is those adverts becoming less and less effective. And people are already frustrated, as I said, with seeing things on social media constantly, advert after advert, that they don't think applies to them. Well, if, for example, Google and Facebook ads rely even less on those cookies and even less on those targeting options that they've defined over years of data and cookie usage, then these adverts are just going to become less and less effective. Again, that then leads on to the things that me and Jim sort of go to with SEO and PPC, of people actually saying, well, I can't find things anymore because people can't target me individually. I've got to go out and actively look for them myself. And that's when the things like SEO and PPC could really come into it.
Yeah, I was doing some research the other day. I won't tell you what it was into. It was into some manufacturing side, but I won't tell you what it. But after that, in my feed across everywhere, Facebook, and there weren't many. Those that were doing it were tracking and coming back in front of me, which weren't many from the manufacturing side. I have to say. So I think there's an opportunity there for people to tap into. Jim, your side from the SEO then, from a cookies point of view.
I think it's going to be a bit of a rough road, especially after using Google Analytics, etc., and things coming into there. It's going to be, things are going to start to disappear. Not going to be so easy to track, and also to see what trends are in and where people are coming from. So I think people are going to have to start building up the user experience and actually think about their customer journey. And allow them to see, we'll actually speak to the customers as well. It might be a point of actually getting in touch with people, maybe doing some sort of group research and looking into what they really need to be doing with their websites when, as I say, things do start to disappear from the analytical side. I can see business intelligence kind of ramping up a lot as well. And I think there'll be quite a few vendors of data that will be selling what they know to people that want to start to rank, because they can't afford the actual big data themselves. They can't afford those kind of processes going on in the background. So I'm kind of see that going on as well. Yeah, completely agree with what Luke was saying though. It's and yourself as well, Adam. It's definitely the interruption side of stuff is people have had enough. It's obvious people have had enough, and now it needs to be intent. If that means someone going onto a website and giving content over, so then being allowed to publish their content, say through Facebook, whatever, but they end up having their data took from them, then at least there's that agreement gone on. It's not just you're having this, and and it's going to pop up everywhere you go for the next 3 or 4 days. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's that privacy side, isn't it? And there
yeah,
has been big things on the privacy side, and rightly so as well.
absolutely.
I think it has gone OTT with it
Mm,
from that. And I suppose in a way, from the SEO point of view, we've got to look at things like our keywords, our meta descriptions, all manner of stuff, and making sure that our websites are really sound, spot on for those keyword structures.
absolutely.
Because again, if you're searching, it's the third party. If you're searching, you want to be found for
Yeah,
the right keywords.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether there's anything else to add on that. I mean, from a basic point of view, keywords, H1 titles, H2 titles, 3 titles, and meta descriptions, all manner of stuff are some of the basic stuff. But then we get into the more advanced things as well from what we do.
Yeah, and as I think I said it on our last little call, I know it's a daft thing to say, but treat it like your belly button. Get rid of the fluff. Don't don't have fluff all over your website. Google doesn't like the fluff.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
treat it like your belly
absolutely.
button.
And I suppose then this comes back round to from an overarching point of view of what you look at from a business strategy point of view, and that's where we can help as a team in understanding where you want to go, what you want to do, and how you're going to get there using these intent strategies. Interruption is still there, a certain aspect, but we want more personalization. We want more personalization and that on that sort of like level with our customers anyway, because that is always beneficial. So leading on from that then, so this other one that you found, these Google page experience signals. This is where me and Luke get a chance to question you, because you've found this one out. So so to explain a little bit more about this.
It's not really a new thing from a mobile point of view. This was started last year. It was one of the big. Every couple of years, or maybe every year, Google come up with a huge algorithm and try and put the wind up the SEO people and also the Google Ads people, and but also it's to help. It is actually to help people who are searching on Google. So Page Experience, which came out around about February, March when they rolled it out, that was more to do with the rankings for mobile, how things were looking on a mobile display. And if you weren't kind of sticking to the signals that Google was looking for to do this page experience algorithm, they would knock you down in the rankings. And now in March, they're rolling it out for desktop as well. Now they bring it out for that. So main signals it's looking for, it's all to kind of going in a kind of a full circle. What we're talking about is to do with user experience. Google's recognizing that it wants to find great websites for people, but it also wants people to have a great experience on that website when they actually go across and click the link. So it's the one thing that people just don't wait for anymore is a website. No one wants to wait around. No one wants to wait for something to load up, and Google's realised that. So a lot of it's to do with page speed, to do with the size of images. If you can try to compress them, especially hero images, which are the huge image that you normally get at the top of a page, try and look out for that sort of thing. Google doesn't like it when people are having to wait for more than 3 seconds, basically. Any more than 3 seconds, it's seen as not a good thing. And also a first input delay, which they give these stupid little terms. These are called web vitals, they call them as well, which is another buzzword and buzz keywords that goes around. But basically, all that's saying is how long does it take for someone to be able to actually use the website? How long does it take before they can actually scroll or maybe fill in a form or click to another area that they want to go to as well? And then the third biggie, which is more to do with mobile, but you probably do see it on desktop as well, is cumulative layout shift. And that's when you load up a page, you're looking at a page loading itself up, and it looks like a game of Tetris is going on your screen. It's trying to jiggle everything around, trying to fit everything in, and it finally decides where everything should go. And Google's not liking that much. Might be worth starting to look at how many fancy things you've got on your website. If things are flying in from the left or the right, or if you've got parallax scrolling where the background scrolls slower than the front, stuff like that. Maybe taming that down a little bit. But there's also other little things in there that it'll be looking at, and things to do with accessibility as well. If there's a contrast problems with your text compared to the background, say you've got a nice sky with clouds in it, and you're going to put some white text on there. Well, that's not a very good contrast straight away. And Google wants to know that anyone can have a good experience of your website. So yeah, you've got to kind of keep these things in mind because it will affect your rankings. And I would keep an eye on your rankings now, just in case there are things that aren't quite the way they should be when it comes to this page experience algorithm.
Yeah, there was something that caught my mind within that. I mean, for me, I've always gone on around from the manufacturing side. And believe you me, some of the manufacturing sites I've seen with the the washout of text that's a common theme on some of the manufacturing websites I've seen. But what was I going to say? Is the loading side definitely, but I've always gone on around that customer experience in manufacturing, and we generally used to be around about customer satisfaction, but it's shifted. It's the UX, it's the customer experience now, as the user experience as a whole throughout everything that we do, and we need to look at that even as business. And I'm talking manufacturing here, but every business, our businesses, as we look at, need to have that customer experience because can be a massive differentiator from that. Luke, you any thoughts on this with what Jim has just been saying?
Yeah, I'll just a couple of things where Jim was talking, that wrote some stuff down. So from my point of view, again, going back to the advertising of the Google Ads sort of stuff, one of the major 3 components for quality score is landing page experience, and you could argue that is the biggest one. For a quick run round of what quality score is, basically Google Ads aren't just who bids the most wins. The bid is times by a number of quality score, which is out of 10. And 3 factors make up that: ad relevance, landing page experience, and expected click-through rate. So this is one of the 3 major things which determines where your ad ranks. So to even get in that conversation, as Jim says, Google's already looking before they show you ad, what is the website it's going to good enough and important. So that's an important factor of where you want to appear within the ads. And then as Jim says, landing page experience can lead to drop-off rates and can lead to the customer journey along a website. So, for example, in Google Ads, if we're sending somebody who wants a certain product or service to a website, they want to find exactly what they're looking for on that page. They want to be able to navigate it well. And they might then want to go and take another step. Same with SEO from Jim as well. They go on a search engine search, they go to the site, they want to be able to go and find what they're looking for and also have ease of use. And looking at that within Google Analytics, you'll be able to see your drop-off rates of your site and gauge, all right, maybe not a numerical and data-driven conclusion, but you can see a lot of people dropping off certain pages. You'll be able to make the assumption that maybe something's wrong with this page and maybe the experience isn't great or maybe something's missing. Whether that is loading speed, taking too long to load, whether that is content on the page not being right enough, whatever it is, landing page experience is important. So, and then it's sort of gone full circle back to this conversation at the start of how are we going to be able to track this sort of stuff in the future with the cookies and within analytics? Is that then going to be something that we're not going to be able to gauge from data on Google Analytics? Is it something we're going to have to, like Jim said, go out and do customer research and ask our website visitors how they found the experience? And if so, that's going to be a challenge to marketers moving forward.
But the thing is, for me, is that when I look at that, is that is what we should be doing. That's personalization, understanding our feedback from our customers, learning what our customers, improving on what our customers are saying and bringing that back round. And if you close the circle on this, is as you say, is that you've got the ads, and the ads are being measured by that by those 3 from a quality perspective, and therefore your website should be as well, because then they both go hand in hand. And the strategical side of what you do from a business. So there's no one thing that you can't. It has to be a full-on strategy around how you operate strategically in this market. But at the end of the day, it comes back to customer experience. And for what Google want is they want people, when they search, to put stuff in front of them that's relevant to them. And when the person that's searching wants the relevant stuff there, and to be very, very quick loading and everything like that, and being able to get the data like now, like, there's no, I mean, Pam's cases you put on there is that, 3 seconds you probably got for a website to load. That's about it. They're probably gone. So it is all good stuff and things that businesses you do need to be aware of and be looking at, because this is going to get more sort of like evolve more over the next months coming, particularly with cookies going. But I think that's it for this. Anybody that wants help with anything business growth, mentoring, and the digital marketing side, lead generation side, then please do get in touch. bit.ly/NWG diary. You can block in a bit of time for us to have a chat, or visit www.newwaygrowth.com, which is on the branding. But thank you very much, gents, and we shall have another one in a couple of weeks.
Good stuff.
Cheers.